Well, what's going on, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to show you a very clever way that you can buy books on Amazon and resell them on Amazon for a profit. This is a strategy that I don't think a lot of people utilize. It's something that I've been doing behind the scenes for a while. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a secret, but like I said, I don't think very many people are doing it. But with that said, let's get right into the video. All right, so I came across a listing of a chemistry book here on Amazon, and what's really fascinating is a lot of times books will have listings for the book itself in different binding types, paperback, hardcover, loose leaf, but sometimes there'll also be alternate listings that have a loose leaf with some sort of access card. It could also be a paperback with an access card. So if you don't know what an access card is, essentially it's additional or supplemental material that is needed for a book that a student might need. And a student doesn't necessarily always need that supplemental material, but the fact of the matter is that sometimes you can have two listings for the same book. The only difference being that one listing, like the one that you see on my screen right here, is supposed to have an access card, and you might have another listing for the same book, a loose leaf, just without the access card. And so what this allows is for arbitrage between different listings. So you might be able to buy the book on listing A and then sell it on listing B. And often what I find is that usually the listing that has the access card attached to it is going to be the one that sells less frequently. So because it has less sales volume, it can tend to have, sellers come on the listing, tank prices really aggressively, and you can pick up a copy pretty cheaply and then sell it on the other listing. And so here's a great example of that. This is a chemistry book. You can clearly see that it comes with the access card. This is what it in particular looks like. You can even says it comes with an access card here. And you can even see over here on the right that there's different formats. You can see that there's a hardcover, you can see that there's a paperback, and you can see that there's a loose leaf. And again, this loose leaf specifically has an access card. But before we get into that, I want to let you know that September 13th through 15th, we're going to be hosting the Books and Beyond Resellers Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be really awesome. Steve Raiken's going to be there. Victor Gallegos is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Avery Martin's going to be there. A lot of other really awesome speakers are going to be there as well. So if you're interested in meeting me in person or meeting any of those guys in person, then definitely join with the link below. But with that said, let's get right into the video. Now, I was interested because I know usually if there's a listing with an access card, there's going to be a listing without an access card. So what I did is I just went over to Amazon and just typed in, copied this same title, Chemistry, the Central Science, just like this, and pasted that right into Amazon. And you can see that this will bring up this same chemistry book. And you can see there's a hardcover listing, an e-textbook, a paperback, and you can also see under other format, there's also loose leaf. Now, what's interesting about this listing is you can actually see that it doesn't have an access card attached to it. And so what this means is this is just this loose leaf, nothing else attached to it. And so the question is there any opportunity for arbitrage between these two listings? Now, if we look at this listing that only has the loose leaf with no access card, you can see it clearly has a pattern selling, August, September very well, and also in January very well, and normally selling above $75. That's the lowest used price, as you can see with this black line. Again, the sales rank drops mean or indicate that the book is selling, it's becoming more popular. Right now, this book on this listing is right around $45. And again, if we go back to this other listing, which has the access card, you can actually see that you can buy this book for about $24. And if we scroll down to this Keepa chart, you actually see that it was priced very high, right around $180. No sales rank drops because, no one was buying this book for $180 with this access card. You could actually see in the past, it was selling, pretty well in the 80s. Last July and September, and then went out of stock for a while. And you can see over the last 800 days, it actually has also performed well. Now, again, the issue with you selling a book on this listing, if you don't have the access card, is that the student who's buying this book is probably assuming they'll get the access card. So what's going to happen in the best case scenarios, they'll get it and they actually don't need the access card. They're okay. Nothing happens, they don't return it. Probably what's likely to happen is they will return the book because they didn't get the access card. Even worse is that they leave negative feedback. But in this case, I've actually bought this book today, and I'm actually going to go over to my other Amazon account, and you can actually see that I purchased basically two copies, $18.68, $13.09. I bought two copies of this book on this listing here. And one of the reasons why I bought it on my other accounts is because one of them was a Prime offer. So I had to buy it on my non-business Prime account. In any case, I was able to get in this book, one copy for about right around $13. And again, I'm not going to sell it on this listing. Even if the seller does ship me the book and it has the access card, actually in that case, I might sell it on this listing, but I'm just going to assume that it doesn't come with the access card because most people in their description say, even though they're on, selling the book on this listing with an access card, a lot of times they just won't include it, right? Again, my goal is to sell it on this other listing, which has a much better track record of selling. I mean, there's a lot of sellers on this listing. There's a lot of sales on this listing. The book is selling very well. So in this case, my buy cost, I think it was like $13.08, and I think also $18, I think is what it was. So let's just go with the $13.08 here. What do I reasonably assume I could sell this book for? I would say easily in the $65 range. August, September's coming up. The buy box was getting up to 90s. I would say probably my min price I'd set at like 75, my max price probably around 100, honestly. And I probably have even sold this book before. If I go to my orders page here on Seller app, you should probably see that, yeah, I have sold this book for around $85 in the past as well. So it's a book that I've sold before, and it's one that I could easily sell for, I would think $85 is a pretty reasonable price. And with that, we're looking at a $49 profit at the $13 buy cost. And at the $18 buy cost, we're looking at a $44 profit. So both of those well over 200% ROI. I could potentially make on both of those copy $80. And again, on the seller listing, there is technically still a listing available there for $25, which is still not a bad deal. I mean, if you kind of look at this listing, this loose leaf without the access card has never been below $45. So even that's a great deal. I think you would still make plenty of money because you'd be picking that for like $25. I think selling it even at 75, yeah, you'd be making 100% ROI. So I should probably even go back and buy it, but I'll leave that there. Just in case this video gets posted in time, you can go snag it. Hopefully it's still there for one of you. But my point in showing you this is that there are tons of books out there like this. And while there are some ways to search for them, what I found is a better strategy is that whenever you find loose leafs or paperbacks that have listings with an access card of some type, just do a quick Amazon search, see if you can find the same book without the access card, because there is opportunity for that cross-listing arbitrage, which can leave you with, buckets of profit. And I've got quite a few books like this that I'm obviously not going to just give out to everyone because it's taken time for me to find them. I will say there's not a ton of them, but there's a significant number of them, well over 10 of them that every year I do pretty well on. So what I'd recommend is whenever you're going on Keepa Deals, Keepa Product Finder, BookMine, Keepa Alerts, whatever it is that you're using to source, just keep your eye open, especially for the loose leaves. Keep your eye open to see if there isn't this cross, listing arbitrage opportunity. Now, I did want to give you guys one more treat. And that one more treat is, how could you find some loose leaves right now on Amazon? Maybe some loose leaves like this using Keepa Product Finder that you can search for. So let me go ahead and show you some awesome books that I found on Keepa Product Finder. So I went over to Keepa.com, went up here to the data tab, went over to Product Finder, and I looked for anything that has a sales rank of under 3 million. Pretty high sales rank, but again, if we're looking for these loose leaf edition listings or paperback edition listings that have the access card, generally they tend to have a worse sales rank than the actual copy that doesn't have the access card pairing with it. So you probably want to go pretty high in sales rank. So we're going to go 3 million in sales rank. Under used, we're going to say we want the price of this to be under $30 today, but we want the 90-day average to be at least $45 or more. So we're looking for a book that, has an average use price over the last 3 months, a little bit higher than what we can buy for now. Now, I'm also going to come down to the root category and select books because, we are purchasing books. The last thing I'm going to do is actually specifically look for loose leaf. So under the binding type, I actually just typed in loose leaf. And when you type in loose leaf, like this, you can go ahead and select loose leaf. It'll show up here. There's 26 products as a result. And, first listing here actually looks pretty good. You can see that this clearly is a loose leaf. It says books a la carte. By the way, books a la carte, loose leaf, student value edition, those are all binding types that, have this 3-hole punch on the left-hand side. These are essentially without a binding, you have to put them into an actual binder and then you can flip to them that way. It's a way for students to save money. It's cheaper for the publishers to publish these sorts of books. But in any case, here's a book that just dropped in price down to $25. Looks like it's been there for a couple of days. And the most recent couple sales look like they're in the 50s and then in the 80s. Clearly has, a little bit of seasonality. It kind of honestly looks like it just sells year round. June, July, August, September, October, selling in the 50s. So you're looking at a book that reasonably is about half of its normal value, but potentially could sell up to 80 and be a pretty good deal. So obviously you want to do a little more research. You want to actually go to listing, make sure that this is a book that you might want to buy. And actually it looks like it's already gone. So maybe someone already had checked out and already purchased it, but that's a book that I would say is something I'd want to look at. Here's another one, second one that looks pretty good. This is Principles of Human Physiology. And I actually have sold this book before. I probably will think about buying this one again. So it's right around $29.36. Now, again, this is a book that in August, September, January, February has a clear textbook season. And again, this is a book that last August was selling up to $130, which is kind of crazy. I mean, some of the earlier sales were in the 50s, which is still significantly above what you can buy for today. And then you can see in January, February, we had some sales at least in the 70s, probably even more than that. So again, this is something you can go over to Amazon. You can go and check out what the listing looks like. You can see someone's in a buy box at $114, which I would consider to be a pretty, I wouldn't say necessarily unreasonable price. I mean, it has sold for $130 in the past, but I mean, that person is shooting pretty high, right? I mean, you can come in as an Amazon seller, undercut them, come in at like 75 or 85, and you're good with the buy box if you're buy box eligible. And so it looks like we have a couple of copies. These are in acceptable condition. This is slightly worn. The person has 86% feedback. I mean, this is a loose leaf. You would expect it not to be in the best condition. It's also a textbook. You can generally be a little bit more lenient on condition when you're talking about textbook season, high school books, college books, because, you know, the student needs the book for a reason other than them wanting the book. Like, the only reason why they are buying the book is because they need it for school. They don't inherently want the book on their own. Like, they don't probably care about condition too much. I'm not saying buy trash books. I'm just saying just because the book's acceptable, they'll just automatically turn around away. They say slightly worn, I would still probably buy it. And, you know, maybe one day I'd buy it and the next day I want it, right? It's not like a set in stone rule. I would just say the more that you can buy books from people with higher feedback, the better. But you still might figure that this is a good deal. You could buy this for $33.44. And the goal here would probably be to sell the 75 range, 75 to 85. I think at 75, I mean, you're killing it. You're making 50% ROI, $17 profit. If you're going up to 85, you're doing close to 100, you know, getting up to 80% ROI. And again, you would come in at a price that would be well under the buy box. You'd win the buy box at that price. And again, there's even potential that could sell for 113. There's actually definitely possible that has happened. I mean, again, if we go back to September, you can see plenty of sales rank drops when the lowest price is 130. You can also see something that is good is that the offer count of this book is at 16. While slightly higher than it was in the past at 12, there's not really too much of a difference between 12 and 16. It's a book that's pretty stable. It's had some pretty good textbook seasonality. You can see it's, you know, healthily selling every season as well, including the last 2 seasons. So I really hope you guys found value in this video. Again, the point is to try to do a little bit of cross-listing arbitrage. And there are tons of really creative ways to buy books on Amazon. This is just one of many. If you're interested in many of the other creative ways that I don't necessarily always share on YouTube, there is a link to my A2A Masterclass down below. It is a paid program, but it's an amazing course. Over 200 people have taken it. It's essentially, you know, many hours of me kind of going through, you know, walking through the entire process of the A2A business model, showing you some of the clever sourcing strategies, such as one like this, that you could, you know, easily, you know, find books that you can sell on Amazon and make a profit. So if you guys find value in videos like this, just remember that these are free videos. So if you're actually paying for the A2A Masterclass or paying for anything, you know it's going to be even better quality, and you know that the value is going to be even better, right? I mean, this is free, those are paid. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and